afternoon. This is Jacqueline Miller. I am here to analyze the billboards that we have hanging through the city. It seems that we have the same billboards in both the urban and suburban areas, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. The billboard of police officers speaking with parents happily while children run over lush green lawns, having a balloon fight, may be culturally familiar to those in the suburban areas, but may have a very different effect on those in the urban areas. We need to keep in mind that not all images elicit the same response in their viewers. We need to make images that are more culturally familiar to both the urban and suburban children or viewers. We want to have examples that show images that elicit good memories, good experiences, and reasonable expectations. I came up with these two images here of community gardens. Both of them are quite different, but they're the same vision. We want to look at this first here. We can see that this is an urban garden. There's an urban area. There's buildings. It's a little bit overgrown. It's dirt. It's not paved. Their boxes are built directly into the ground, as opposed to our suburbans down here, where the city's in the background. The boxes are raised on a platform. It's paved. They've got trellises and cages, and their garden is a little more developed than the one in the urban area. We want to definitely talk about the cultural familiarity here. In an urban area, we have different memories, different expectations, and different experiences associated with photos and pictures and visual things. So in this one, we may elicit a memory of a time when they came together with their community and did something, and it may inspire them to go do something again. And this is a reasonable expectation of something that can be done in their community. And the same goes for down here. An urban viewer may see this and see, again, a good memory of a time that they got together with their community. Maybe they went out and picked vegetables in the garden, and then everybody came together and cooked them. This is a very social experience here for the parents and the children alike. We can see that the parents are not engaged with their children in some situations. They're letting them play, and they feel safe and comfortable, as opposed to up here where every child has a shovel, every child is doing something. And those are two very different experiences elicited from these two very different photos. Putting both of these photos, this one in the urban and this one in the suburban area, will really keep their expectations to something that is attainable. We communicate through signs that even sometimes we don't realize that we are seeing and actually cognitively processing. According to Berger, there are 4 different semiotic codes that we process information using. The first one being metonymic. It is a code that causes the viewer to make assumptions. So the assumptions that we can make in this picture, that it is an inner city garden. It's got buildings around it, like I said. It's not manicured. It's not paved. Everybody's working to make it beautiful. As opposed to this one, we can assume that it is a more suburban garden. It's paved. It's got planter boxes and trellises and platforms and a sitting area for the parents. Another way that we do this is analogically. We see things, we want to know the difference between, we see the difference between a urban and a suburban garden area. So if we were to put the suburban garden area billboard up in the urban areas, they would be able to see that might be something that's not attainable. They might analyze that as something that's just not important to them. If we were to switch it over to a more urban, they can analyze that and see that that's something attainable and that's something real for them. The next thing that he talks about is displaced signs. And we really want to keep those to a minimum. We don't want to have an underlying meaning between the garden and anything else. It is what it is. This is a community garden. We can do this. We can come together. As this is a community garden as well. We can do this. We can come together. we can make this happen for ourselves. And then the next thing he talks about is a condensed meaning. We combine everything together and we pull a meaning from this photo. So for our urban meaning, this is a community gathering to make something beautiful right next door, right in their city. And the same thing here. It's a it's a meaning of community and coming together to make a garden and just somewhere where they can be more social with their neighbors. This looks like more of a social gathering. This looks like something that's a little bit harder to do, hard work. So, and those are the meanings that we can bring from both of these photos. As you can see, using two different photos for two different communities can elicit a positive response in both communities and still get the point across that community gardens are useful and a wonderful way to socialize with your neighbors and your community. It's important to remember that one size does not fit all when it comes to billboards and advertising, and really put some thought into what you're putting into what community. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful afternoon.